Walkabouter's Guide to Australia, or whatever we end up calling this thing.
Ned Kelly country, the old bark hut.
Oh, my name's Bob the Swagman. Before you all I stand, and I've had many ups and downs while travelling through the land. I once was well-to-do, my boys, but now I'm stumped up, and I'm forced to go on rations in an old bark hut. 10 pounds of flour, 10 pounds of beef, some sugar and some tea. That's all they give to a hungry man until the 7th day. If you don't be mighty sparing, you'll go on with a hungry gut, for that's one of the great misfortunes in an old bark hut. The bucket you boil your beef in has to carry water too, and they'll say you're getting mighty brash if you should ask for two. I have a billy and a pint pot and a broken-handled cup, and they all adorn the table in the old bark hut. Faith, the table is not made of wood, as many you have seen, for if I had one half so good, I'd think myself serene. 'Tis only the old sheet of bark, God knows when it was cut. It was blown from off the rafters of the old bark hut. And of furniture there's no such thing, 'twas never the place, except the stool I sit upon, and that's an old gin case. It does us for a safe as well, but you must keep it shut, or the flies would make it canter round the old bark hut. If you should leave it open, and the flies should find your meat, they'll scarcely leave a single piece that's fit for man to eat. But you mustn't curse nor grumble, what won't fatten will fill up, for what's out of sight is out of mind in an old bark hut. In the summertime, when the weather's warm, this hut is nice and cool, and you'll find the gentle breezes blowing in through every hole. You can leave the old door open, or you can leave it shut. There's no fear of suffocation in the old bark hut. In the winter time, preserve us all, to live in there's a treat, especially when it's raining hard and blowing wind and sleet. The rain comes down the chimney, and your meat is black with soot. That's a substitute for pepper in the old bark hut. I've seen the rain come in this hut just like a perfect flood, especially through that great big hole where once the table stood. There's not a blessed spot, my boys, where you could lay your nut, but the rain is sure to find ya in the old bark hut. So, beside that fire, I made me bed, and there I lay me down, and I think myself as happy as the king that wears a crown. But as you'd be dozing off to sleep, a flea will wake you up, which makes you curse the vermin in the old bark hut. Faith, such flocks of fleas you never saw. They are so plump and fat, and if you make a grab at one, he'll spit just like a cat. Last night they got me pack of cards and were fighting for the cut. I thought the devil had me in the old bark hut. So now, my friends, I've sung my song and that as well as I could, and I hope the ladies present won't think my language rude. And all you younger people, in the days when you grow up, remember Bob the Swagman and the old bark hut.
Guns on the roof. After himself. Ned Kelly Museum.
Ned Kelly was a bush ranger who put a bucket on his head to shoot at the coppers. Not exactly an Arthurian legend, but an Aussie hero, nevertheless. Right up there with Donnie Bradman and Chappelle Corby.
All the men on the roof. Waterfall falling down to the creek. Beechworth Cemetery, where thousands of Chinese gold miners are buried. And one of the many Murrumbidgee irrigation ditches. Further scenes of the coastline.
Tie me kangaroo down, sport. Tie me kangaroo down. Tie me kangaroo down, sport. You gotta tie me kangaroo down.
Looking towards Sydney.
Walkabouter's Guide to Australia, or whatever we end up calling this thing.